Welcome to District Command Central, your go-to source for the latest news and updates on the Washington Commanders. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button and ring the bell so you never miss a play. The Terry McLaurin saga has taken a dramatic turn, and it's sending shockwaves through the Washington Commanders fanbase. What once felt like a contract dispute that could be quietly resolved behind the scenes has now erupted into a full-blown standoff. McLaurin, the team's undisputed WR1 and emotional leader, made a powerful statement without saying a word. He didn't show up for training camp physicals. That absence may seem subtle, but to those familiar with NFL contract negotiations, it screams volumes. It's the kind of silence that echoes through locker rooms, front offices, and fan discussions alike. Adam Peters, the team's general manager, had tried to maintain a calm public front, assuring everyone that contract talks had restarted after months of silence. But McLaurin's no-show tells a much louder story, one of discontent, frustration, and a bold move meant to force the Commanders' hand. The tension is undeniable, and fans are bracing for impact as their worst fears start to materialize. Let's not forget who Terry McLaurin is to this franchise. Since arriving as a third-round pick out of Ohio State, he's been nothing short of phenomenal. Through instability at quarterback, coaching changes, and organizational dysfunction, McLaurin has been a rock both on and off the field. He's led by example, produced year after year, and never once made waves publicly, even when lesser talents elsewhere were getting paid big money. That makes his recent action all the more significant for a player of McLaurin's character. To hold out speaks volumes about how serious the situation has become. He doesn't strike as someone who does this lightly, which is why his decision to skip the team's first official duty of training camp should set off every alarm bell in Ashburn. If this standoff continues, the Commanders risk not just losing a great player, they risk fracturing the very culture they've been trying to build. From what insiders like Ian Rappaport are reporting, McLaurin's absence wasn't a misunderstanding. It was calculated, planned, and meant to deliver a message. Negotiations are failing, and time is running out. While the team may claim that discussions are active, clearly, they're not advancing in a way that satisfies the star wideout. The sticking point seems to be the money. Reportedly, McLaurin is seeking $30 million per season. That number might seem astronomical for a 29-year-old receiver, but in today's market, it's far from outrageous. Players like A.J. Brown, Tyreek Hill, and Justin Jefferson have pushed the receiver salary ceiling higher than ever. McLaurin isn't just chasing a payday. He wants to be paid in line with his production, leadership, and importance to the Commanders' identity, and right now, he doesn't feel like the organization is giving him the respect he's earned. The Commanders find themselves in a precarious situation. On one hand, they need McLaurin. New quarterback Jayden Daniels is just getting his feet wet in the NFL, and who better to lean on than a seasoned veteran like McLaurin? On the other hand, the team is clearly hesitant to commit top-tier dollars to a receiver nearing 30. General Manager Adam Peters knows this season is pivotal. The Commanders have a new quarterback, a new vision, and for the first time in years, genuine playoff expectations. But paying top-dollar extensions requires not just cash, it demands foresight. Does the front office believe McLaurin will be elite in 3 years? Or are they more inclined to bet on the younger receivers they've brought in? This philosophical divide may be fueling the impasse, and every day that goes by without resolution is a missed opportunity for cohesion in camp. McLaurin, for his part, has always played the good soldier. He's shown up to voluntary OTA letters, worked with young quarterbacks, and never once aired grievances in public. That's what makes his current holdout so jarring. It's not an emotional overreaction, it's a calculated, high-stakes chess move. He's essentially playing his final card, gambling that the team will blink before he has to make this a prolonged battle. But there's risk involved. Training camp is where chemistry is forged, particularly for receivers and quarterbacks. Missing valuable reps with Daniels could hurt both players in the long run. Yet McLaurin appears willing to accept that risk, which suggests just how personal and pressing this issue has become for him. For Commanders fans, it's a sobering reality. Their beloved captain feels disrespected, and unless things change fast, he may not be catching passes in week 1. What's perhaps most alarming is the ripple effect this situation could have. The locker room respects McLaurin deeply, younger players look up to him, and coaches rely on him to set the tone. A prolonged absence or visible unhappiness could chip away at the positive momentum built in the offseason. Jayden Daniels needs confidence and support, not questions about whether his WR1 is going to show up. For a team trying to write a new chapter under a new regime. This has all the makings of a storyline that could hijack the narrative, and it's entirely avoidable. All it takes is for both sides to find common ground and contract structure that rewards McLaurin, while giving the team some future flexibility. It's not impossible, but time is not their ally. With every passing day, the story grows, the distraction mounts, and the pressure intensifies. It's worth noting that McLaurin's camp has not released any incendiary statements. There have been no demands issued through social media or anonymous sources. This isn't drama for the sake of drama. It's a business negotiation that has quietly turned into a standoff. And if the Commanders' brass doesn't move with urgency, they may soon find themselves in crisis management mode. Because once a player like McLaurin feels truly disrespected, repairing that relationship can be nearly impossible. Look around. The league players in similar situations have forced trades, held out well into the season, or simply played elsewhere the following year. Washington can't afford that outcome. Not in a year where expectations are the highest they've been in a decade. McLaurin isn't just another player, he's the embodiment of what the franchise claims to value: leadership, grit, loyalty, and he wants those things returned. Of course, there's still hope for resolution. Cooler heads could prevail. A compromise could be struck in the coming days. Perhaps McLaurin simply wanted to send a firm message before ultimately reporting. But based on everything we know, this doesn't feel like a bluff. This feels like a player who's reached his limit. And that's dangerous for a franchise still finding its footing. Adam Peters was brought in to provide stability, structure, and long-term vision. How he handles this situation will be his first true test as general manager. Does he bend to keep his star happy, or does he hold the line, believing in the strength of the organization above any one player? There's no easy answer, but there is a clock ticking, and the sound is getting louder by the hour. As the Commanders prepare to take the practice field, all eyes will be on who's present and who isn't. Every day McLaurin sits out as a statement. It's not just about money, it's about value, respect, and belief in the organization's direction. Fans are right to be concerned, because this isn't just about a contract. It's about a culture being tested. When you're most respected, veteran feels marginalized, others take notice. When leadership wavers, doubts grow. If Peters doesn't act decisively, this could spiral beyond just one disgruntled player. It could become the defining distraction of a season that promised a fresh start. McLaurin's made his move. Now it's the Commanders' turn to respond. Will they listen to their leader, or will pride and policy win out over peace and performance? This impasse has already dragged on longer than anyone wanted, and it's reaching a critical juncture. The longer it lasts, the harder it will be to undo the damage. Training camp is supposed to be about building chemistry, installing schemes, and preparing for battle. Instead, Washington is caught in a standoff that could derail all of that. McLaurin deserves his payday, and the team deserves a chance to thrive without this hanging over them. But the two sides are running out of time and excuses. Someone needs to break the stalemate. Otherwise, the 2025 season might start not with optimism and unity, but with division and regret. One way or another, this saga is about to reach a breaking point. And how it ends could define not just the season but the future of the franchise itself. If you're enjoying the coverage, make sure to smash that like button and drop a comment with your thoughts on the Commanders' latest moves. We want to hear from you. It's the kind of whisper that starts in locker rooms and quickly spreads across NFL forums, social media circles, and sports radio. Devin Lloyd, the standout linebacker from the Jacksonville Jaguars, might be packing his bags and heading north to join the Washington Commanders. While nothing is officially confirmed just yet, sources close to both organizations have hinted that talks are underway and momentum is building. Lloyd, who has been a key piece in Jacksonville's defensive setup, is now rumored to be eyeing a fresh start with a franchise that is desperately seeking a defensive identity. The Commanders, known for their defensive legacy in years past, are undergoing a massive rebuild under new leadership, and the front office appears laser-focused on revitalizing their front seven. The addition of a player like Lloyd, with his sideline-to-sideline athleticism, football IQ, and ferocity, could be the cornerstone move to set this transformation in motion. Devin Lloyd has been nothing short of a revelation since entering the league, and despite Jacksonville's inconsistency, he has emerged as one of the most reliable and disruptive forces at the linebacker position. His instinct for reading plays, combined with an exceptional burst and tackling technique, has drawn comparisons to some of the league's elite defenders in a Jaguars uniform. Lloyd has demonstrated leadership beyond his years, anchoring a defense that often found itself compensating for an underperforming offense. But as Jacksonville recalibrates its roster and cap space, the possibility of moving a valuable asset like Lloyd has surfaced not because of performance, but strategic realignment, and who better to capitalize on this than Washington? With their front seven in need of speed, intelligence, and grit, Lloyd would arrive not just as a player, but as a cultural shift. His presence could instantly change the Commanders' defensive dynamics and bring a new edge to the team. What makes this rumor even juicier is the growing buzz around Lloyd being the centerpiece of a defensive overhaul under a new regime in Washington. After years of mediocrity, the Commanders seem poised to embrace a new era, and sources say the front office sees Lloyd as a symbol of that change. Imagine pairing him with a healthy Jonathan Allen, a rejuvenated Darren Payne, and a potentially resurgent Chase Young, should he remain in the capital. That front seven would become one of the most feared units in the league overnight. And even if Young were to be moved as part of a reshuffle, Lloyd's arrival could open up flexibility in how the Commanders deploy pressure packages. The move also fits with Washington's recent strategy of acquiring players who are not just athletically elite but also mentally sharp and team-first. Lloyd, a proven leader with a relentless motor, checks all the boxes. There's also an intriguing narrative brewing around the timing of this potential acquisition, with Washington's new ownership group keen to make a statement in their first full season at the helm. Bringing in a defensive talent like Lloyd could serve as the perfect spark. It would be the kind of bold, aggressive move that tells fans and the league alike the Commanders are no longer content to be an afterthought. They're aiming to reclaim their place among the NFL's elite, starting with building a defense that can suffocate opposing offenses. Lloyd could also serve as a mentor for younger linebackers on the roster, fostering a competitive yet collaborative environment that raises the unit's overall performance. Sources say the locker room culture in D.C. is being reshaped, and Lloyd's discipline, focus, and professionalism would align perfectly with that vision. This potential trade isn't just about talent, it's about leadership and long-term impact. While Jacksonville fans might be bracing for a tough goodbye, the writing has been on the wall. The Jaguars have been surprisingly active in listening to offers for key defensive players, and Lloyd's name has quietly surfaced more than once. Despite his importance on the field, Jacksonville's brass appears to be focused on diversifying their assets and investing more heavily on the offensive side of the ball. With Trevor Lawrence entering his prime and a young, fast-paced defense being built around him, the idea of flipping Lloyd for draft capital or offensive reinforcements isn't outlandish. And though it would be a painful departure, it may ultimately serve both franchises well. For Washington, acquiring Lloyd would be about fortifying an identity. For Jacksonville, it's about rebalancing the roster. Rumors suggest there's mutual respect between Lloyd and the Jaguars' front office, which could help facilitate a smooth, drama-free move if and when it happens. What's particularly exciting for Commanders fans is how seamlessly Devin Lloyd could fit into their scheme. His versatility allows him to operate as a true middle linebacker or slide outside in certain packages. That kind of flexibility gives defensive coordinators a wealth of options. Blitz him up the gap, drop him into coverage against tight ends, or have him spy mobile quarterbacks. Lloyd can do it all. Washington, which struggled with missed tackles and communication breakdowns last season, would benefit immediately from Lloyd's high football IQ and natural leadership. Players like him don't just plug holes, they elevate everyone around them. And in a league where defenses are constantly adjusting to high-octane offenses, having a Swiss Army knife like Lloyd in the lineup provides a crucial edge. If the rumors materialize, expect Lloyd to become the focal point of a revamped defense, rallying a unit that's hungry to reclaim its bite. Adding more fuel to the speculation is the subtle yet telling activity on social media. Lloyd has reportedly unfollowed several Jaguars-related accounts, and recently liked a post discussing Washington's emerging defensive core. While these digital breadcrumbs may seem minor, they've become a key component in modern NFL rumor tracking. Players know exactly what they're doing on social media, it's rarely accidental. Insiders believe Lloyd is fully aware of the Commanders' interest, and might even be open to the move. The allure of playing in a bigger market, with a fresh defensive scheme tailored to his strengths, could be exactly what he needs at this point in his career. With a young and hungry coaching staff in place, Washington represents a chance for Lloyd to lead a unit from the front, not just as a playmaker, but as the face of the defense. And for a player of his caliber, that's an opportunity worth considering. Behind the scenes, league insiders are already treating this as more than just smoke. There's chatter that preliminary discussions between the Commanders and Jaguars have taken place, with Washington willing to part ways with a mix of draft picks and depth pieces to make the deal happen. Some even suggest that a conditional second-rounder, plus a promising young defender, could be enough to seal the trade for Washington. It's a no-brainer. Plug a gaping hole in the middle of your defense with one of the best young linebackers in the league. For Jacksonville, it's an opportunity to retool and prepare for long-term success. The pieces seem to align, and while official confirmation might still be weeks away, the league is watching closely. When multiple insiders begin to align in tone and timing, it's often a sign that something big is brewing, and if this deal goes through, the Commanders' defense won't just be better. It might be dominant. Of course, the NFL is unpredictable, and many potential trades die on the vine. Cap space, contract structures, and future draft implications always complicate matters. Lloyd is still on a rookie deal, which makes him highly valuable both from a financial and performance standpoint. That's what makes Washington's interest even more urgent. They're looking to capitalize before he becomes too expensive or locked in long-term elsewhere. The clock is ticking, and both front offices know it. The Commanders are in a pivotal year, with a fan base desperate for hope and results. Devin Lloyd could symbolize that shift a young star brought in to usher a new defensive era. It would send a message across the NFC East and the entire league. Washington is building something real, and for a team that's often lived in the shadows of its rivals, this could be the spark they've been waiting for. Until anything becomes official, it remains just that, a rumor. But in the NFL, rumors are often the first breath of reality. Devin Lloyd to the Washington Commanders has the feel of something more than just speculation. The fits align, the needs are clear, and the timing feels eerily perfect. While fans in Jacksonville might feel a sense of loss, and Washington fans a surge of excitement, the real story is what this move would represent, a turning point, whether it's about scheme, leadership, or just the raw need for a defensive identity. This is the kind of deal that can change a franchise's fortunes. If it happens, expect ripple effects across the league, from draft strategies to off-season positioning, and if it doesn't, expect it to remain one of those what could have been storylines that haunt general managers for years. But for now, all eyes are on Devin Lloyd and the wall he just might build in Washington. Thanks for tuning into District Command Central. Make sure to subscribe and follow us for all the Commanders news you need. Until next time, keep the faith and hail to the Commanders.